Hey, hello, howdy. These are 10 characters that ended up disappointing me and fell below my pre-overanalyzing expectation, as well as the hype the community gives them in OG Naruto. This list is a lot more nuanced than the 10 characters I like, however, as my opinion on most of these characters hasn't changed, rather evolved. Cause if there's a character on this list that I like, yet they didn't meet my expectations, I now know I don't like them because of their actions, but rather for vibes. Like the 10 characters I liked video, this one isn't going from characters I disliked the least to characters I disliked the most, but instead from characters that disappointed me the least to characters that disappointed me the most. So yeah, enjoy. Or don't. Hinata being on this list probably isn't really that fair. Her and Sasuke were originally my favorite characters when I first watched Naruto, at least until Shikamaru fought Temari. The only reason she's on this list was because I drastically underestimated her screen time, which is more my fault than anything. I think it is worth noting that her time on screen is used well, it's just all pretty much used on her fight with Neji and then her talk with Naruto, which are both good moments for her, just that her talk with Naruto isn't specifically that memorable in the grand scheme of the entire story. And for how important she is in the story as the main character's love interest, I don't think that's enough. She also fails the Bechdel test pretty badly, like the worst out of any character in Naruto. During the 10 characters I liked video, I temporarily used an approval rating, and I'll be using this kind of metric for the rest of the video, just as a way to properly show how much they fell below expectation. And for Hinata, her theoretical approval rating started at around an 80 and ended at like a 78. So in reality, I don't think Hinata's a bad character, more just an underutilized one. She's like Gavin Sheets, the Kyle Higashioka of Naruto. Like I said in the 10 characters I like video, I tend to think of Kidomaru for some reason when I think about the Sasuke recovery mission. And I think that's mainly because of his character design. He's a really unique character and complements the creepy aesthetic that Orochimaru has really well. But in overanalyzing Naruto, I feel like he didn't really hit the same way. In reality, he's only scary for like 2 episodes and only feels truly threatening for 1, which is kind of crazy, especially if I'm thinking about him when I think of the Sasuke recovery mission. Like, that's kind of disappointing. Like a lot of characters on this list though, it's kind of my fault. I set the expectation high and they fell below it, but they're only really falling below it because I'm again setting the bar really high. Kidomaru basically went from like another 80 to like a 75 here, and unfortunately that little drop might end up affecting where I put him in the character tier list, but that's a conversation for that video, not this one. I think as a community, we've kind of collectively set the bar high for Jiraiya, mainly because of how good he is in Shippuden. But if we're being real, right, he's not like outstanding in OG Naruto. He's good, but overall pretty overhyped. He teaches Naruto Rasengan, but pretty much just says you figure it out. His peak as a character in OG Naruto is pretty much all of Search for Tsunade, where he's outdone by Itachi and of course Tsunade. His introduction is him being a sex offender, by the way, and we let that slide. What I will give him is that he's a father figure for Naruto, which is good and impactful during Shippuden. And I do tend to like looking at future impact for other characters, so it's only fair I give that to him. But that's all we really have in OG Naruto, and we're supposed to think he's an amazing character? Like, no, all that comes in Shippuden and isn't really set up now. And that's affecting his approval rating pretty hard. In my opinion, he went from an 85 to a 70. If we were to keep up with baseball references, Part 1 Jiraiya is the Anthony Volpe of OG Naruto, or rather, the Wander Franco. Kankuro's a character that I've always thought was a little weak in OG Naruto. Like, I think the start of Shippuden, he's already miles above his character in OG Naruto, but I still think I overestimated him. For some reason, I've always thought that his talk with Naruto during the prelims is a lot more friendly, but oh my god, it's not. I'm also pretty sure I've said this before, but if you take Kankuro, Zaku, and Kiba's personalities and then switch them all around, they'd still be the same exact character. And overanalyzing Naruto made that abundantly clear. He's a character that's overly cocky, and the second he lost a Shino, that got pretty old. Like, you lost to a fucking bug guy. I don't care how cracked he is, you still lost. That overconfidence now just looks like arrogance. Like, you should be dead. And I don't know, I think his type of character gets really old if the personality doesn't immediately click for you, and that was pretty much the case in overanalyzing Naruto. He's fine on a casual watch, not when I have to pay 100% of my attention to him, like the monkey in Toy Story. To be honest, I've never really liked Jirobo, but thanks to overanalyzing Naruto, I hate him now. He has one purpose. 2 actually. He properly introduces a normal looking Earth style, and then he's Choji's bully. And because of this, he gives off like fat fucking chud energy, and I hate him. His approval rating was like a 40, and now it's a 20. And I'm so happy it can't change anymore. I'm so happy he's dead. Balding at 14, by the way. Gato's technically the first big villain in Naruto, which is weird to say given that Zabuza and Haku easily take the spotlight. But he is. He's the character that's causing everything. He's kind of like the Orochimaru of the Land of Waves. And he's boring. He just owns Amazon. He's not really scary villain material. We don't see him and become terrified. We're not like, oh my god, not Gato. And I think in general, the nature of his character sets the bar too high. The most memorable thing about him is his death, and quick, name something else he did. That's the point I'm making here. He's the first main villain and easily the worst. But on a casual watch, I think it's still easy to see him as a character who was threatening because he's the first impression. He's the standard. But in overanalyzing Naruto, I just didn't see him that way. I compared him to Jeff Bezos for fuck's sake. In overanalyzing Naruto, I think I made it pretty clear I didn't like him. I think he's just annoying. And in general, when I don't like a character, especially in Naruto, I think it's easy to gloss over them when simply watching. But when analyzing, I need to look at this guy with all of my attention, and in doing so, he gives you more of a reason to hate him. He's just annoying. There's nothing really redeemable. What he is going through is like 1% of what Naruto or other characters went through, and I don't really think that lands well, even if they were introduced early. I don't care how many people like him. He's just one of the annoying grandsons. And yes, I am saying the same exact thing for Konohamaru. In overanalyzing Naruto, I think I made it pretty clear I didn't like him. I think he's just annoying. And in general, when I don't like a character, especially in Naruto, I think it's easy to gloss over them when simply watching. But when analyzing, I need to look at this guy with all of my attention, and in doing so, he gives you more of a reason to hate him. He's just annoying. There's nothing really redeemable. What he is going through is like 1% of what Naruto or other characters went through, and I don't really think that lands well, even if they were introduced early. I don't care how many people like him. He's just one of the annoying grandsons. And yes, I said the same exact thing for Inari. If you were to take Zaku, Kankuro, and Kiba's personalities, then switch them, you'd have the same exact character. And no, I've never said that before. I think because of Zaku's jutsu, I've always just overestimated him. His arm windhole things are really cool, and how they were initially used gives him a really strong impression for me. Like during overanalyzing Naruto, when he used the windholes against Shoji and when he saved Dosu, I was like, damn, I underestimated him. But at that point going forward, he's just around so he can lose to people, and that tanks him pretty hard. He gets shit on by Sasuke to show how powerful the curse mark is. He loses to Shino to show he's a pawn, and then he's used for reanimation. I was like, damn, this is the character I think is genuinely great? Bro, I'm fucking dumb. But like other characters on this list, I liked him going into overanalyzing Naruto, and I still like him leaving it. It's just that I see him now more as a surface level character. He's like the more intense Kidomaru, that's the best way to put it. So the approval rating might go from an 80 to a 40, but the vibes rating stays the same. Fugaku is the only character on this list I went from kind of liking to actually hating, because OG Naruto does try to portray Fugaku as a strict yet loving father, but when I overanalyze those Sasuke flashbacks, yeah, definitely not. This dude sucked. He couldn't pay attention to both of his children at the same time. He is not a good father. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about him in overanalyzing Naruto, so I'll link a playlist in the description if you want to hear me go more in detail about my hatred for this fucking deadbeat. But to summarize, he constantly ignores Sasuke and only acknowledges him when he's comparing him to Itachi, something that's just very toxic. Then, the second Itachi isn't on board with a fucking hostile takeover, Fugaku then tells Sasuke to not be like him, which is him pretty much just trying to make Sasuke like an Itachi part 2. Like that talk Sasuke has with his mom, shout out by the way. It does some damage control, but I can't unsee that, I'm sorry. In the Sasuke flashbacks, I always cared more about what Sasuke was feeling rather than what Fugaku was saying. But with overanalyzing Naruto, he just had no chance. No amount of Sasuke's mom doing damage control can save this man. His approval rating went from like an 80 to a 20 for OG Naruto, of course. If we knew about his talk with Itachi before he died, it'd be a different conversation. But since this is OG Naruto only, I can't give him that. I can only give him one on this list. These are the characters I disliked in OG Naruto. Like the video if you enjoyed. Don't dislike. If you want to support me more than just watching this video, you can become a member on Patreon. And yeah, shout out moms.